If you need to communicate with customers, then you're going to go to what I would call the centers on the left-hand side. That's the old QuickBooks desktop name. The sales tab here is the customer center. The expenses tab is what I would call the vendor center. And then the payroll tab is, of course, the employee center. So remember that if I hit the drop down up top, if I'm looking at the customer cycle, I really only need to deal with the customer center if I have invoices usually. You might have prepayments as well, like deposits. But usually for most businesses, either they have sales receipts or they just record revenue with a deposit like gig work, or they're at a cash register where you have a sales receipt that you're going to enter and you don't have to follow up on collecting. If I have to follow up on collecting, then I'm going to have invoices. And that's when it's going to be really important to go over here into the sales center and communicate with our customers, because we're going to have to try to politely but firmly ask for our money, right? And follow up on the collection process. So that's going to add a whole added amount of complexity. If you're in a larger company, that'll spend their entire job will be tracking, organizing the accounts receivable and trying to collect on the accounts receivable. Then on the vendor side, if you just pay for things with expense forms, it's going to be easy. You don't really need to go into the expense center. But if you enter bills, which is often the case for larger types of businesses who are trying to delay payment as much as possible due to the time value of money on larger dollar amount transactions or on larger quantity of transactions, then it's going to be important for us to track go in here to the expense center, which is basically the vendor center, so that we can track the outstanding bills and make sure that we pay them. And once again, if you're in a large company that has a lot of stuff, you have a whole department that's just trying to say, how can I pay the bills as late as possible while still taking advantage of any cash discounts that would be in place and not making the vendors that we deal with angry by delaying payments basically as late as possible, so we can maximize our cash flow and the time value of money as inflation kicks in. And then we've got, of course, our payroll, which if you don't have any employees, you don't have to deal with payroll. If you have employees, do you do payroll inside of QuickBooks or outside of QuickBooks? If you do it within QuickBooks, then you're going to be, of course, over here in the payroll center processing the payroll and dealing with all the payroll information. All right, so those are the things